Happy Hump Day, Fumble fan. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. Sorry, we are a couple minutes late. We got caught up in a conversation about the debate last night, so let us know if you tuned in the chat. Tell us all your thoughts. Also, make sure you subscribe to our channel. I kind of regretted saying tell us all your thoughts, but I'm sure people already are. Anyway, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Tap the bell for notifications. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Now, here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. Chris?
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K.
What's up, everybody? It's Jackie Ray. You can follow me everywhere at JRay the Fanatic.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your girl, Britt Johnson. You can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson.
Okay, you guys, let's get right to it. Let's talk about Dame Lillard. So, obviously, Dame Lillard...
Y'all forgot again.
Look, I'm giving it a pass because last night ruined everybody's mood, and we had that conversation pre-show. Like, you're right. I forgot too because we were talking about some mess. You're right. I apologize.
Yeah, we were talking about basically the end of the world is what we were talking about.
Right. Excuse me for not being excited about Hump Day. I apologize.
Facts.
Me too.
I'm gonna give y'all this pass. And
then also, I invited the chat to tell us what their thoughts are, and
I know, and they're already doing it, and it's like,
yeah, there was a lot of things that kind of presented these different challenges and obstacles for me today. So I forgot to ask Chris.
Can we just mute the chat for the day? Right?
Close it.
Yeah. Can we do that?
But Chris. Let's do this. Tell me, what day is it today?
It's Hump Day, and I wish it was closer to Friday, but yes, it is Hump Day. Oh.
Halfway there.
Yes, we're in the home stretch, you guys. Okay, let's get right to the news now that we've gotten everything out of the way. Dame Lillard, we got to talk about Dame. He's always been a confident guy, and he just revealed that he considers himself one of the best point guards in the league. So he talked with Draymond Green, and when asked where he believes he needs to get respect from as a player, Dame said that he doesn't see other athletes like Steph, Russell, and Chris Paul as being above him. I'm going to play a clip for you right now. So, Leo, can you throw that up there?
Who do you be feeling you need to get that respect from? Is it players? Is it fans? Is it the media?
It's interesting you said that about Steve Kerr because I felt that way a few years in my career. I'm looking at Steph and Russ and CP, and I don't view them as above me.
Mm-hmm. So I think that this is not a huge surprise coming from Dame because, like I said, he has always been a very confident player, but he also said that people always acknowledge him as being a great player, but they follow it up with a but, implying that there is something missing, and he doesn't necessarily know what that is. So, Britt, I got to go to you first. I know you love Dame, so would you say that he is on the same level as Steph, Russ, and Chris Paul?
I would say are all of them on his level in some respect. Like Damian Lillard is that dude. Like we're talking about, like he was 6th overall pick. He was rookie of the year. He's a 5-time All-Star. He was first team 2018. Last couple years he's been second team. He literally is that guy already. And you're talking about and trying to compare him to guys that the closest one even to him is probably like Russell. I think it's Steph. Steph's been in the league 3 years longer, but Russ has been in the league 4 years longer than him because Russ came in 2008. And Chris Paul's been in the league 7 years longer. And like really, I mean, Steph and Russell Westbrook both have an NBA MVP award. Dame doesn't, but they've also been in the league at least 3 to 4 years longer than he has. I think Dame is like in that same line. I think he's higher than Chris Paul. Chris Paul's been in the league 7 years longer than them. Like, and if you look at like all the stuff that they have together, like maybe like Chris Paul obviously has the most like all-star award or all-star appearances, but he's been in the league 7 years longer. Like, but then if you look at situations like Steph only has one more all-star appearance than Damian Lillard does. Like, I think he is literally in that conversation, and at points when you talk about it, he's higher than some of those in that conversation. So he is up there. I don't know what would even make people think that he wasn't there, or he shouldn't be a part of that conversation, or that others should be in that conversation over him. I think that's crazy, which Dame is my favorite.
Chris, I want to hear from you on that same thing. So he says that people say you're a great player, and they imply that something is missing. So if you agree that there is something missing from his game, what is it?
Who? Damian Lillard?
Yeah.
I can't tell you what's missing from his game. I think it's what's missing from his team. Damian Lillard is the point guard that you would want to have on your team, and he's not just the point guard. He's a player that you would want to be leading your team. I just think that he wasn't blessed to have the Golden State Warriors type of look when it comes to his team. I mean, this year they finally were healthy right when it mattered, but unfortunately, that you still need that chemistry to build throughout the season, and they didn't have that. So it's hard for me to pinpoint anything to Damian Lillard's game itself. I mean, maybe you want to get at his height, but his height's not even anything to really. I can't really pinpoint anything. He's a good defender. That's what I'm saying. Good defender, great shooter. I can't pinpoint anything for his game itself. I'm looking more towards the Portland Trailblazers and them having a team that can actually get him over the hump more than anything else.
Mm-hmm. And then Jackie, I can tell that you agree, but my question for you is it unfair that people don't give Dame the recognition he thinks he deserves? Tell me all your thoughts on his statements and how people look at him in regards to other players like Steph, Russell, and Chris Paul.
I mean, I agree perfectly with Britt and Chris, and I don't want to call it unfair because it's exactly what Chris said. Unfortunately, his team hasn't made enough noise for him to get the recognition that he definitely deserves. If they had won one championship, I mean, just one, we would be talking about, we would be saying exactly what Chris has been saying. Like, Dame is the X factor, and that on that squad, they need to build around him. We would be pushing his name out there much, much harder than we are. But unfortunately, this is it's one of those situations where you don't have that chip. So people are just like, but if I had to build a team like right now around somebody, I definitely would pick Dame as one of the people that I would do it around because he's just clutch. His game is ridiculous, and his basketball IQ is insane. So he doesn't have an aspect that everyone else. I think he's definitely more versatile than Steph is. So if you're going to really kind of break that down, he definitely needs to be in the conversation above Steph's, but he's not going to be because Steph has won how many champions? You know what I mean? Like, how many times has he even been in the show and stuff? So it's just one of those things that's unfortunate, but yeah, until you get that ring, sorry, it's just what it is.
Weird the other two guys don't have that either. Like obviously Russ has the MVP, but Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul both have never won a ring themselves. So it's like,
but Russell has that whole drama with him. He has the drama. So, and people love drama. They unfortunately they do. So. They always want to know if Russ is going to smack somebody upside the head, or if he goes to Utah, are the fans safe? He's got the drama, so we're going to talk about him a little bit more.
Yeah. Honestly, that's what I was going to say. It's like Dame just plays basketball, and I think that's the difference in other people because he just plays basketball. He ain't worried about none of the other stuff. There's never any crazy storyline with him. Like occasionally they'll be like, oh, the Russell Westbrook and Dame little situation and their little beef, but that's pretty much it. And that's only when they're playing each other. The rest of the year, his team and himself, it's never a storyline with him. He just goes in there and plays basketball, which is what I love about him. And that's honestly what makes him, I think, great. And I think him never getting the love that he, I believe, definitely deserves is made him more of a dog. And I think that makes him a better player anyway. So keep talking less about him, keep not thinking about him in those conversations because I think that makes him a better player.
All right, you guys. Well, let's get into some finals discussion. So game 1 goes down tonight, of course, Lakers versus Heat. Let's just do some predictions. I want to hear from you guys what you think is going to happen. So Jackie, let's start with you. What are your predictions? Who do you think is going to win?
The game tonight, who I think is going to win the game. Really, Devin?
Gotta tell me.
I think this is going to be a really good first game. But I do think the Lakers will win this first game. They haven't really been that great in the game 1 so far in the bubble. We've seen that their game 1s have been a struggle, but I think that now it's time to set the tone, time to show, this is what we out here trying to do. So I think that they go in there and they beast mode it tonight and they get this first win. But I still think it'll be a gentleman's sweep though.
Okay. And then, Britt, I know you don't have a dog in this race, but who do you think is going to be a standout player? Do you have any expectations or guesses as to what will happen?
Danny Green. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. I just had to throw it out there.
Hey, I've been look bad. I've been waiting for him for a while because I said when Danny Green gets on, he's on.
Yeah.
So, wait for you, Juju. But no, I think it'll be somebody random on the Heat. I think it'll be like a Bam will step up, or you'll see a Duncan Robinson, something like that, like we saw in the last series where it's like a random game and somebody will step up. And I think that's going to be who's going to be like the breakout player for tonight. I don't know if it's going to result in a win for the Heat, but I definitely think it'll be like somebody on the Heat that like is unexpected to randomly have like a really good game. Yeah, that's what I think.
All right. And then, Chris, who do you think is going to be a standout star?
I think the entire Heat team is just it's gonna be fun to watch, because here's the thing with the playoffs so far, the Lakers have, game ones, except for the last series, the game ones, you can see the Lakers they like to feel out the other team. And on the other side, the Heat like to jump and pounce in the game one. So I feel like the Heat are just gonna come out there with all kind of confidence. It's gonna be an incredible game, but I can't pinpoint on who I think it's gonna be. I think Jimmy Butler is going to do what he did in the last series and do it again here and assert his dominance and let him know, like, I'm here. And Jimmy Butler might have one of those games, even though he hasn't had many of them in the playoffs. But I think in game one, he's definitely going to put his foot on the gas and show the Lakers that he's here to play. That being said, I still think the Lakers are going to win game one.
Woohoo! Okay, I love it. And then finally, one last question that was.
Oh, no.
Wait, no. Okay, we'll get to the predictions right after or
My
whatever.
bad.
I couldn't hear what you said, but I just have one more question for the full panel. Okay. This was a question that was posed by our producer. Will Katya Elise Henry be sitting courtside to distract Kuz? And if she is, will that work? Chris, where do you stand on the issue?
I'm so glad you asked me first. Hell yes, it will, because we watched Kyle Kuzma get punked by Michael Porter Jr. last series, and now you know how I feel about Kyle Kuzma. I feel like if he sees her face, and if Tyler Hero scores remotely around 12, 14, 15, 20 points, anything around there, Kuzma's going to have his feelings hurt a little bit. So yes, I think it'll work. I think it'll be effective.
Because she's been keeping her time in the bubble sort of on the down low. So
On
I've
the
been
DL.
wondering, is she going to be hanging back or is she going to be right there?
It's a coming out party, Devin.
I don't
It's
know.
coming out party. She's here. She's going to be showing up today.
Love it. And then Jackie, I know you love these kinds of conversations. Tell me your
Kuzma.
thoughts.
First of all, have you seen Kuz's boo? She fires. So I think Kuz is going to be just fine.
Okay, but
She's
we're talking about on
beautiful.
the basketball court. We're talking about the basketball court, though, Jackie. How come that isn't affecting the basketball court, Jackie?
I'm talking about if old girl is there trying to cause drama, he's just going to think back and he's going to know he's fine. He ain't tripping.
Yeah. Bullet
That's
dog.
such a
All
good
right.
defense.
Britt, you agree?
Yeah. He leveled up.
Yeah.
So I don't think why would you keep looking over your shoulder when you leveled up? That doesn't even make sense.
He's still going to play bad.
That's true.
This girl is finer than, and she got like an actual job. She a model.
Right.
A real model, not an IG model.
He's still going to play bad.
Tell him, Britt. Tell him.
We pivoted around him playing
She got her
bad.
own
Like,
tech.
Yeah, that girl
No,
magic.
I agree.
The ex-boo is pivoting around bank accounts. We not pivoting. She was pivoting. Kyle Kuzma leveled up.
Yeah.
but he's still going to
I
play
think
bad.
regardless of if you level up or if you don't level up, I think it can be a distraction when you're trying to zero in on the game and then you see your ex-girlfriend and you know that a guy on the other team goes home to her every single night. I think that it still would be a distraction. No matter what, if your girl's better.
Oh, yeah, it don't matter. He could be with Dan.
Okay, wait. I have
still worried about future when she has Russell Wilson.
right.
No.
Right,
Not
girl.
at all.
No. Russell Wilson. It's no. I said men are. It might not work for females, but guys, we weak. We gonna see that, knowing damn well that the girl I was with is with this dude I'm playing against. He's gonna feel a type of way about that. I can't speak on the other way around. I can't speak for that. You're 100% right with Sierra.
Play worse or better?
Man, this kid gonna play so bad. Kyle Kuzma is not one to be stepping up when it comes to any kind of moments like this. I'm sorry.
Got a game-winning shot in the bubble.
How long ago was that, Jackie Ray.
Not
I was in the bubble.
Not that long ago. Yeah,
That
it
was
wasn't that long
seeding
ago.
games.
It was in the bubble.
That was in the seeding games. We in the playoff NBA
Chris,
Finals.
I was on your side until you started trashing the Lakers and Kuzma's abilities.
Just
Yes, I think
Kuzma.
he'll be
Just Kuzma.
distracted, but
Just Kuzma. Not the Lakers. Just Kuzma. This all just to Kuzma. Maybe this will motivate him. There you go, Kuz.
You would
It was
still
so
have
much
to.
that he switched the name to East
Yes.
Coast
The
Tyler
West Coast Hero.
Or West Coast
Yes.
Hero now. So,
Yes.
I
Yep.
mean,
We will see that today.
You would have to assume that
okay.
their desire to do it for Kobe, that this chick trumps all of that. Plus his new boo.
Man,
That is a no from me, sir.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
we do have the thing, but I just don't think she has that. I just don't. I would say a different one, but I just don't think she is that's going to get him off of his. I mean, he's not on his game anyway, but I don't think it's going to deter him.
Thank you. Kuz, just give me 15 plus tonight, and I'll apologize tomorrow. If you give me 15 plus tonight, I'll apologize tomorrow, Kuz.
All right. Well,
Okay,
we're gonna hold you to that, and then Britt,
All right.
I think you asked everybody for their predictions for how the series is going to go, or I couldn't hear what you said. Is that what you were saying? So
we are MLB just started their playoffs yesterday, guys. We don't cover it a lot, but I love me some baseball, and they're doing some weird kind of thing this season where obviously this first round is going to be single game eliminations. Tonight, the number 1 National League ranked Los Angeles Dodgers are playing the 8th seed, which is Milwaukee Brewers. I gotta know. It's a single elimination game, guys. Who you guys got? Obviously, I got the Dodgers winning.
I'm gonna go Dodgers as well.
Look,
same.
I
Chris, you
just
gonna be odd man out?
No, I'm not. I hope for y'all to say that's the Dodgers because I just feel like a year in, year out, these poor Dodgers been having rough times when it comes to these playoffs. So yes, I'm rooting for you guys. Yeah, I trust. I know you guys know. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going Dodgers this one too.
All right. Well, let's wrap up Need to Know News. Chris, I'm excited to hear what you have for us in the post up.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Post Up with your boy Chris, Quarantine Edition. And I have to shout out my man Dennis Davis in the chat. My man said Kuz's going to drop a hot 9 points. And I think that is on. That is definitely on point. Oh, no. Look, I'm reading the chat. A lot of people going, Robert Anderson, Kuz soft like baby poo. He ain't about that life. I'm just saying. You could talk about the relationship stuff, sure, but I'm talking about the game. He's going to feel a type of way because men are weak. I'm just being real. I'm just saying what it is. Anyways, that being said, we're going to jump into a dude that is, he may not be weak, but he ain't smart. And that is Hassan Whiteside. I don't know if you guys saw these tweets or the tweet that came from. No, it was multiple tweets that came from Hassan Whiteside yesterday. He was trying to jump in on the whole debate train. Everybody was talking about the debate. Hassan Whiteside wanted to drop a joke. Or maybe it wasn't a joke. I don't know. He might have been very serious, but he tried to drop a joke about the debate saying, "I can't do this for 4 more years. F America, bro. I'm moving to Hawaii." I couldn't tell if he was trolling or if he was dead serious and really believes that Hawaii's not a part of America. So my brain, I'm just like, nah, he's not that dumb. This is a troll. Hassan White is trying to be funny. He's trying to, this is a crazy moment going on right now with this debate. Hassan White is trying to be funny. Ha, 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 ha. Had to be a troll, right? Well, Barstool picked up this tweet and then they shared it trying to poke fun at what Hassan Whiteside said in the tweet. And then his response to that tweet solidified, no, Hassan Whiteside is really, he's that dumb. He on something right now. So he responded to Barstool bringing back out his tweet saying, "This Photoshop, more fake news. More fake news I see. It's not even 9:36 where I'm at."
I
Can
can't.
somebody educate?
It's not real. It's not real. I don't believe it.
It kills me.
My guy.
What?
It hurts.
Oh my god! Man, you should just. Oh my! It wasn't though, Britt. It wasn't because it just compiled on the stupidity of Hassan Whiteside.
He could have Googled it and said, I was looking back before Hawaii actually became a part of the U.S. when Hawaii. He should have said something like, been a historian, and then we would have been like, oh, okay, maybe. Maybe.
I don't know, but Hassan Whiteside, and he did not respond to any of it.
This isn't as dumb as people that believe this person anyway, like that this person should be president. So he's at least smarter than those people. So
with these two tweets, he still is.
I believe those people who want to vote for that person probably don't realize Hawaii is part of the United States. They're probably trying to I gotta go get my passport because I want to go to Honolulu.
I don't know, but I saw this and I just could not believe what I was reading. And then he doubled down with that second one talking about it's not 9:36 over here. Got him. No, you didn't, idiot. There's time zones, fool. Oh, Hassan Whiteside, my man. That made me laugh though. I ain't gonna lie to you. But moving off of that, we are talking about the debate. I'm gonna stick on that because a lot of NBA players had opinions on what was going on yesterday. Probably not even just NBA players. People around the world. We had conversations about it before the show, and unfortunately, I know enough about it. And I didn't even watch the damn thing, and I tried to stay away from it because I wanted some sort of sanity, but it was hard because YouTube had all the highlights and whatnot. So I was clicking and watching, like, oh my gosh. And then unfortunately, poor Britt was that she watched the entire thing, so she was sharing that. And I can't do it. I couldn't do it. And by reading some of these NBA players' tweets, I'm kind of glad that I didn't. Kevin Love started off with this one saying, I love this strategy of talking loud over Biden and Chris Wallace the entire time. Obviously talking about Mr. Donald 70K Trump with the fact that he had a lot to say and would not let anyone else say anything else. And I didn't watch it, but I knew that was going to be something else coming in. Next up, we had DeAndre Jordan, who said, this ish sounds like my brothers and me debating over who got to sit in the front seat when we were kids. That is not a good comparison. Like, if you have to compare it to you arguing with your brothers when you were kids, that's not a good sign. This is a presidential debate. DeAndre Jordan out there just making me feel even better about not watching it. We had another one that was from Michael Carter Williams, who said, I feel like I'm watching Tiger King during this debate with the amount of craziness. And we even saw in Tiger King that what's his name was in his own debate of his own for Florida. And it looked very similar to what yesterday's debate looked like. So that's not far off, MC Dub. That's not too far off. We have another one coming from Rudy Gobert saying, I'm convinced that we live in a pig simulation. That would almost be a better situation than what we're dealing with right now. Rudy Gobert would be a lot better. Kyle Lowry said, someone's saying Chris Wallace as many bottles of wine as he can drink if he drinks. After this one, put it on my tab. Thank you, Chris, for being an adult. Yes, the moderator was the adult in the situation of two people trying to run our country. Let that sink in for a second.
No, let's not let it sink in.
Let's
right.
Maybe Chris Wallace got still. I don't know, but my God. Anyway, yeah, send them all the wine, please. Next up we get Kendrick Perkins. I hate that after Kendrick Perkins was on to something here. He said, I've been really considering moving my family to New Zealand. Hey, Hassan White said New Zealand's actually not in America, so take notes of that one. Moving my family to New Zealand and listening to Trump say that he brought football back during a presidential debate. I think I'm about to start packing. Jesus Christ. Carry on, ... And Britt has warned us that, I was just going to say, Britt has warned us in Britt's take that this man was going to use that as ammunition, and he did not waste any time. And in the first debate, he brought it out, bringing out the card that, I brought football back. And shut up. You shut up. On to the next one. So Kendrick Perkins, I'm with you on this one. Moving on to the next one. The LeBron James keeping it very, very simple along with Spider Mitchell. But he said, please vote. Also tagging at More Than a Vote, which is his initiative. We have Spider Mitchell just punching it into y'all brains. Please vote. Please vote. Please vote. And I think that was my last one. Damn, that was it, right? That's all the tweets we got because I lost track with the amount of craziness that was going on. But yeah, I did not watch the debate. Seeing these players and their responses to the debate is absolutely makes me feel better that I didn't check it out. I don't want to start this conversation because I don't want to pull the same mistake that Devin did.
Right. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
So like Kyle Kuzma, right? Like Kyle Kuzma, I'm about to Euro step around this situation and go into the next one. And we're going to talk about Tyler Hero, who had some very confident things to say going into not confident. He was talking about where his confidence comes from going into the NBA Finals. he was asked, if playing or if being drafted where he was drafted, if the motivation of the players being drafted ahead of him gave him any motivation. And he says that he knows the name of everyone that was drafted ahead of him. And here comes, speaking of Eurostep, here comes Isaiah Thomas jumping into the conversation. Like, remember me? I was a 60th overall pick. And he had a response to Tyler Hero saying, LOL, try remembering 59 guys, LOL. And that's facts. He's right about that. I still hate what happened with him in Boston because ever since then, I'm obviously had the injury, but ever since then, we haven't really seen or heard much of Isaiah Thomas, the basketball player, too much. But yes, he still has a great point because that was the one thing he kept echoing the entire seasons that he was in Boston, and he was perceived to be all-stars and all that stuff, was the fact that he remembered everybody drafted ahead of him. And when you're drafted 60th, it's really hard to remember a lot more names than what Tyler had to worry about. So, yes. I hear Isaiah Thomas. Now get back in the damn league, my friend. Yes. Moving off with that to Kyrie Irving, from one point guard to another. Actually, the point guard that replaced him. Kyrie Irving was on one of the first episodes of Kevin Durant's new show, The Etceteras, which is a conversation where they're talking about, they'll talk about basketball and sports and stuff, but they'll talk about everything in between, and that's the point of the show. And they talked about the first time Kobe Bryant met, or the first time Kyrie met Kobe Bryant, or the first time he spoke to Kobe Bryant, excuse me. And this is a video on YouTube for those. I'm going to read what he said, but I need you guys after this to go Google Kyrie Irving challenging Kobe Bryant. That is what he's talking about right here. One of the funnier videos to this date. But Kyrie had said, I go over to Kobe. My heart's pounding, bro. I practice the line in my head. I practice it in the mirror before I got there. I go straight up. Yo, Kobe, I think I could beat you one-on-one. Honestly, I think you can't guard me. Now, again, if you look at this, you're like, Kyrie is that stupid, especially with how his last few years have been. You're looking at Kyrie like, this dude is really crazy, like Hassan Whiteside crazy. Sorry, I'm keeping that trend the entire post of Hassan. You asked for it, but yeah, he's really crazy. But the thing was, this moment is on video. Like I said, after this, Google it, YouTube it. It is a great back and forth between Kobe and Kyrie. And Kyrie was confident. He said, I could take you one-on-one, to the point where Kobe bit, and they had a little bet on the side. I don't know about the one-on-one game. That's not on video. But the conversation, the argument between the two was great. So much so that Kobe had even said after the fact there that was the moment that Kyrie had earned his respect, to know that this was his second year in the league, and he's coming at Kobe Bryant right away. Team USA, young buck coming into the fold of the NBA, and had challenging at the time probably the best player in the league without a fear. And yeah, that was the moment that Kyrie gained Kobe's respect. But the whole back and forth is hilarious. So I implore that you guys go watch that video. But yeah, that's crazy. But sticking with this same show, KD and Kyrie also talked about another big moment that happened last season. Matter of fact, it was a moment where a lot of people, including myself, believed that it was the conversation between the two that meant that they would be joining the New York Knicks. They talked about it briefly in the Etceteras, where they talked about the moment in the hallway where Kevin Durant said this. He said, the All-Star Game video, where they caught us in the hallway, that's when it was solidified that we were going somewhere. They didn't know for a fact where it was, but it was somewhere. And I actually listened to it because reading this, I'm thinking to myself like, oh, so they did officially confirm there that they knew they were going to play together. But if you listen to not the whole thing, but listen to leading up to that, he's talking about the media, how that moment, because they caught it on video, that was the moment where the media was going to be like, boom, there it is. They're officially playing together. We're riding this wave until free agency. Here's my thing with it though. You guys did still team up, whether it is New York, whether it is wherever you guys rumored to go. The point of the matter was you guys still did team up. So the point that you're putting, and I'm one to put a lot of things on media too, but for you to put this one on the media, to me, it's kind of whack, because maybe that was the moment. You didn't clarify that was the moment. But Jackie Ray, I have a question for you on this one. So like I said, he was putting this on the media that the whole KD, Kyrie to New York Knicks thing was the media's fault, which I do agree with that part. But in that same breath, for him to say that, if the media didn't run away with this moment, then who knows what would have been talked about? Does that lose that argument lose its power with the fact that they did actually, in fact, team up together? Like, doesn't matter what we might have rumored, because they did end up playing together in the same team in New York. Do you think that was just like a whole whack conversation, a whole whack attempt to try to attack the media from Kevin Durant?
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of those where there's smoke, there's fire kind of thing, because obviously it all came to be. So him saying, oh, if the media hadn't hyped it up, maybe it wouldn't have happened. That's not true, because technically the media hyped up that you were Judas when you went to the Warriors. That didn't stop you from going. You know what I mean? So the media has nothing to do with the choices they make. This is silly to me. I can't stand KD. I like him. I like to watch him play. But as a person, I can't stand KD. He says the most outlandish, ridiculous stuff, and this is definitely one of them for me.
Yeah, I'm 100% co-signing with that for sure. He has a bit of a point, because I remember the whole entire ride. Being a Knicks fan, I remember the entire ride. But before that moment, there was a lot more rumors that it was going to be Jimmy Butler and Kyrie Irving coming to the Knicks. That was the big rumor at that time. And then when this video came out, there was the murmurs, and then that video came out, and then it turned to, there it is, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are going to the Knicks, and that became the whole entire thing. So either way, he's right about the media thing, but like you said, it doesn't matter. Where there's smoke, there's fire. You guys still end up in the same team. You guys are playing in New York, like whatever. Like, I don't understand the point of you bringing this up in this instance at all. But again, Kevin Durant, his new hobby is to always keep the Knicks in his mouth, regardless of his decision to go to the Nets, and I think it's hilarious. So I'm glad that we have some real estate in your brain, Mr. Kevin Durant. But moving off of that moment to another one that really made me scratch my head, and this was Candace Parker, who we talked about Asia Wilson getting the MVP. Candace Parker was then awarded with the Defensive Player of the Year award, right? Cool. So normally when you get that award of Defensive Player of the Year, it's no question that you're going to be at least in one of the two all-defensive teams, right? Wrong. Candace Parker got Defensive Player of the Year, but for whatever reason, she wasn't on any of the all-defensive teams. I don't know how that works out, because if you're the better defender of the season in the league, and then you don't get, to me, it's like that meme where I'm just like looking up and I'm doing the math, and it just I can't compute this one. It makes no sense. But hey, Candace, she's not bothered by it at all, because when this word came out that she wasn't going to be on the all-defensive team, she posted this picture right away on her IG with the caption saying #unbothered, and she definitely does look very unbothered by the situation. So good on you, Candace. But for me, that just blew my mind. I don't understand at all. I got nothing to say about that. But Britt Johnson, you think that this was just like, can you explain this one to me? How can you be a Defensive Player of the Year and not be one on the best defensive team? Like, explain this to me. Am I missing something?
I can explain it to you. It doesn't make any sense. This is honestly worse than Dwayne Casey winning Coach of the Year and getting fired in the same sentence. It's worse than that to me. It literally makes no sense at all. I have no explanation for it. I've never seen anything that crazy ever. So I have no words. I don't know how it happened. I don't know why it happened. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was hoping you had to say you're on the same wavelength as me. Right, but she's unbothered, so that's all I meant. She can't care less. I'm glad that she's sitting on a beach right now and not playing in the playoffs anymore, because obviously my Sparks are out. But I'm sad about that. But other than that, congratulations on Defensive Player of the Year. Sure. Still going strong with her career. Yeah, I hear you on that. I know Liberty weren't going to do anything. Get better, Sabrina. But moving on to this. I love this moment. Jets fans, if you're in the chat, if there is any Jets fan in the chat, please close your eyes, because we're talking about a player that you guys let go for free that is now thriving on one of my rival teams, the Carolina Panthers, and that is Robbie Anderson. Now, he has been on the Jets, and he was turning into this, semi kind of good, star receiver. But then he went to the Panthers, and now Teddy Bridgewater is loving him, and he's been playing really well for them. But he's still getting used to being on the Panthers. Now, the Jets, they didn't have a mascot. The Panthers have a whole mascot that he had never heard about before. So here's the moment of him seeing the Panthers mascot, Sir Purr, for the first time, and it's actually hilarious. So here's that video.
What's that bear doing?
Like a bear. That's Sir Purr, bro.
Who?
Sir Purr.
How you say that?
Sir Purr.
Sir Purr. Oh, Sir Purr? You call him that?
Yeah, that's his name.
So you be like, what's up, Sir Purr?
just can't. It couldn't connect. I love how he did it. So you come, Sir Per. Like I love how he had to do the hand motion and everything. I want to be on record. I know you guys have a lot to say about Cam Newton's hair. I hate Robbie Anderson's hair. I've always hated it. I don't understand why he's doing that. I don't like it. I hate it. But besides that, this whole moment was hilarious. But Sir Per, that's a stupid name. That's a stupid name.
A grown man saying, "Hey, Sir Per." That's just not right.
What's up, Sir Per?
How you doing?
I don't like it.
I think this moment was wired, but Cam Newton's moment is not. I need to hear that moment with the Patriots.
Right.
Because we're all still wondering what was actually said in that moment.
I still think it was raisins in potato salad and that he liked it. I still think that's what it was.
Because the whole entire time Cam was sliding down, Harry was still talking. He's like, "I'm trying to tell you, I'm serious. I really enjoyed it."
The raisins, man. The raisins.
Well,
we gotta find somebody who reads lips. I know we know at least one person who can read lips. We gotta find somebody.
We gotta find somebody.
I'm usually pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm pretty good at it. I'll watch the video today and see what I can figure out.
100 times.
Okay.
Watch it over and over again. Yes. But
that Titanic video, we need one or the other at least. So
I don't know if you're looking in the chat, man. They have not forgotten about this Titanic video, which is good because now they're distracted and
I made a deal with the chat. We've all agreed. I will be singing Jackie's intro to What We Not Gon Do today. The Titanic
I didn't see that deal.
I'm asking you guys, please.
Did you see that deal, Devin?
A little bit of my. Yes, I'm the one who made the deal. Everyone agreed to it, but I need to maintain some of my dignity, please, you guys, please.
Because I did not see this deal.
Let me have this, please. Oh, and the Fumble jumping in on it too. Oh man.
Titanic on the chat.
No, you guys suck. Everyone sucks.
No deal. They did not agree to that deal. You just
Rico's like, no. We didn't make that deal. No.
Like, I don't even remember seeing that. I don't know about this deal.
That is
fantastic.
Well, Devin, let me buy you some more time and try to throw people off with this last video because I have a pretty funny video to end off with. And there was a moment where for post-up we ended the video off with a lot of kids doing funny things to wrap up. I got another one for you guys right here. This kid is a huge Ja Morant fan, and it showed when he hit this very clutch shot during his game, and his celebration was very Ja Morant, Russell Westbrook like. Look at my man with his little pom-pom poof. Look at him.
Aww.
Too little! He's too little! Show him one more time. Let him know. No, you can't guard me. Where's my man? Look, let him know. Too little. He's too little. Yeah, shout out to him. I love that. 4 years old celebrating like that. I love that. But on that note, that is it for me here on Post Up.
All right. Jackie, tell us what we not gonna do. Yes, sir.
Okay, chat. Let me know if that's going to suffice. If y'all going to let her off of this Titanic video because of that intro. So let us know in the chat. But once again, I'm Jackie Ray. If you didn't know, I'm usually right. Britt's right rate might be a little bit higher than mine. But on this specific topic, I've been right the entire time because I have applauded the NBA on being open and letting these players use their platform, especially when it comes to social injustice. I've been a big fan of having the Black Lives Matter on the court. Wasn't a big fan of the names that they allow, but again, I definitely applauded them and pushing that needle, whereas the NFL has kind of just barely gotten on that train. But I have said time and time again that I'm still not fully buying it because the NBA, like it or not, still has a problem of race, from the lack of Black coaches to the lack of Black owners. The players on the court are not represented in those positions of power within the NBA. That is a problem for me. And we all know that it's fully possible to be one way in public and another way in private. I think to some extent we've all probably done that in some way, shape, or form. So while the league is allowing players to do this and to use their platform, they're not practicing what they preach behind the scenes, except for Mark Cuban. Not you, Mark Cuban. You are one of my favorite people in the world, and I would be horribly saddened if you fell onto this list. But just so you know, 80% of the political donations from the NBA owners have gone to the Republican Party, while only 18.4% have been donated to Democrats. 1.6% have been donated to nonpartisan incentives. I actually am a big fan of the 1.6% because I'm very anti this two-party system. And I know some of you in the chat are going to say something ludicrous like Republican does not mean racist. Historically, that has not been true. It might have started that way, but we are far removed from that. So historically, that's not been true. In fact, in 2019, Time Magazine published an in-depth article that was titled, "Republicans Want a White Republic. They Will Destroy America to Get It." That is what Time Magazine published. And then last night, the president that y'all keep spamming and saying Trump 2020, he told members of a white racist terrorist group to stand back and stand by. I don't know if y'all know what that means, but if I tell anybody from my squad stand back and stand by, that means it's about to go down. And wait for the word so you know when it's about to go down. It's a terrible racist thing to do. Birds of a feather flock together. And so, yes, I definitely think everyone in the chat has a right to say Trump 2020. But there is no question that when you say that, you are aligning yourself with a racist. So just know that. But fun fact, you are not alone, because the Lakers, Jim Buss, Orlando Magic, Dan DeVoe, New York Knicks, Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs, all of those owners have donated millions of dollars to Donald Trump's re-election campaign. They have done so knowing his racist agenda. They have done so because this isn't new information. That debate last night, even though it gave me crazy anxiety, that was not the first time Trump has let everyone know where he stands. So it kind of breaks my heart, to be honest, to know that, especially Rob Pelinka, because I know he's just a GM, but personally, I think he's a good dude. You know what I mean? So obviously he doesn't have any say over what the owners do. None of these GMs, none of these players have any say over what these owners do. But I just can't imagine, like, if I was, for some stretch of the imagination, working for my business hero, which is Mark Cuban, if I was working for him and then found out that he donated to Donald Trump, especially while I was out there and he knows I'm pushing for social change, he knows I'm trying to make a movement, it would break my heart. Chris showed you a tweet earlier from LeBron James that said, vote, vote, vote. And I get it. Right now, we would be better off with SpongeBob SquarePants in office. So I get that any change is better than nothing. But when you look at the true politics of the situation, it's kind of out of the frying pan into the oven. That I said all that to say this, though. We know who Donald Trump is, and he's shown us who he is. He literally engaged in a screaming match last night. So, Chris, my question is for you. Knowing that your organization, my organization, have donated millions of dollars to a known racist, what does that say about us as a society? Because we're still, as fans, we're still going to support these teams. We're not. I'm still going to gear up in my head to toe LeBron outfit tonight, which I'm going to give myself a pass for because it's a LeBron outfit. But we're still going to do it. We're still going to go out here and root for our teams, regardless of knowing that they don't align with the agendas that really would give justice to people who look like you and I. What does that say about us?
Well, the Lakers won't surprise me a little bit. Jim Buss, I did not know that. James Dolan, that's old news. I mean, it's New York, Donald Trump. That's their buddies. That has no surprise to me. We talked about this months ago when James Dolan, the Knicks, and their statements and blah blah blah. So that no surprise here. But the thing for me is we gotta remember that these guys are billionaire businessmen, and these teams to them are just an asset to them. So it's like, regardless of, how we might love the team for the team, the Knicks and Lakers and stuff like that, to them, this is just another thing that's making them money. They support the guy that cares about the people that got a lot of money. So they're going to put the money in the pockets of Republicans and Donald Trump. So I look at it that way to try and keep myself from being insane for oh my God, the Knicks, I'm supporting a racist damn team. But like you said, there's people within that actually do the basketball stuff that make us like the team. In some sense, I use that word loosely for the Knicks, but but that do the stuff for the players and the stuff like that. Like those are guys like Rob Pelinka's and for my Knicks and stuff like that. We've had black guys running up the team. From Scott Perry and so on and so forth. That I know that don't support those same ideals and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I've just come to the situation that, that's just how the cookie's going to crumble, because these guys are the ones that are just protecting their money more so than anything else in the world, because that's all they care about is their pockets. And that's just the way it is for these guys,
Yeah.
especially a guy like
It's
James Dolan.
unfortunate.
Very
I
unfortunate.
talked to a friend about it, and he told me, he was like, if your goal in life is to never work for a racist, then you have to go into business for yourself, because otherwise, at some point,
That's
like the higher you go up the chain, the more money people get, the more likely that unless it's a black-owned company or a minority-owned company, you're probably working for a racist. So,
yep.
not what I wanted to hear, but I guess it is what it is. So, let's get back to some football if we possibly can, because if you don't know, the coronavirus has said, hey, I'm still here, at least to the Tennessee Titans, because they tested 5 non-athletes, or 5 like coaches and whatnot, had tested positive for the coronavirus earlier this week, and 3 players. That was on Tuesday. This morning they tested somebody, and there is another player that tested positive for the coronavirus. So that is actually 9 people on the Tennessee Titans that have tested positive for the coronavirus. We know they played the Vikings on Sunday. So far, no one on the Vikings have tested positive for the coronavirus, which is good. But it does raise a question, because last night I was texting our producer and I told her, I'm like, I can't believe they're going to play the Sunday game. They were going to let the Titans-Steelers game go on Sunday as planned. They were going to make no real modifications as far as that game goes. Of course, people online, especially Twitter, had something to say about that. So and it wasn't even like first thing this morning. It was probably like 2-3 hours ago. They were like, okay, just kidding. We're not going to play on Sunday. This is what we're going to do. So they issued this statement. They said the Steelers-Titan game, originally scheduled for Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, will be rescheduled to allow additional time for further daily COVID testing and to ensure the health and safety of players, coaches, and game day personnel. Details on the new game day and time on either Monday or Tuesday will be announced as soon as possible. So my first immediate thought was like, okay, this makes sense, because we all remember it wasn't too long ago that 77 players were tested on 11 teams, and all of those came back positive. And then we find out later that there was a problem with the lab, and none of those tests were actually positive. So my first knee-jerk reaction is like, okay, this makes sense, because the NFL is still using that specific lab as far as these testing are concerned. So their goal is to retest everybody. And now you do have to, regardless of the test is a false positive or not, you still have to have 2 negative tests before you can resume any practices, play, things of that nature. So I was like, okay, this makes sense. But you guys did not agree online. So this first tweet, it was the first tweet I saw, and I was like, you know what? This actually makes sense. He said, make Tennessee forfeit. Not fair if they pass the virus to the Steelers. Also not fair to make the Steelers play Tuesday and then again Sunday. That would be 2 short weeks for this team. So you know what? I didn't think of that immediately, but I really low-key agree with that, because we've said it time and time again on this show. Staying healthy is an asset. It's a skill set. And yeah, you do what you do off the field to hopefully minimize your risk of getting injured on the field. I think that's no different with this coronavirus. You should be doing every single thing possible to make sure you do not get this virus. Whatever protocols the NFL has, you should be doing that. And you should be doing more on your own end to make sure you can go out there and get on that field week after week. That's why they made sure to give them extra players on the practice squad, not have to go through waivers in case something happens and we need to pull people up, we can do that. But if you have so many people on your team that test positive that you have to say, okay, we can't even go back to practice, we have to shut things down, because it was a guy on the practice squad as well as 2 actual players on the roster that tested positive for this, that should fall on the Titans, and they should have to forfeit the game. I don't know if we should move it to a Monday or a Tuesday, because now we'd have to have a doubleheader on Monday. Or if you move it to Tuesday, this user is exactly right. Now they have a short week 2 times in a row, and we've talked countless times about the problems with having a short week. It always lends to more injuries and technically horrible games. So I agree with that too. So I'm going to co-sign on what this person said. Devin, what do you think? Do you think that this is something that we should kind of implement going forward? If your team cannot figure out a way to stay healthy, to not follow all the protocols to make sure they don't catch this virus, if you catch it, we're not rescheduling your game. We're just going to have you forfeit.
You know, it's not something that I really considered before, but I think it probably is a good solution because, you know, football is such a contact sport and we are in the middle of a pandemic. So it does have to fall on the athletes individually to keep themselves safe and healthy, not only for themselves, but for everybody that they come into contact with. And doing mid-season, like 2-week quarantines for entire teams doesn't seem like it would be that feasible. So yeah, I mean, this is not really a bad idea. Of course, you know, these guys might have contracted the virus accidentally. Maybe they weren't doing anything to violate protocol, so it would kind of suck. But I don't know. I don't really see a better solution to handling it than forfeiting a game like that.
Yeah. Someone in the chat said, is Jackie saying the NFL players shouldn't go to Magic City and get chicken wings? Britt said he did have on a mask. He did. But yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. If you're going to go get Magic City wings, but he didn't get the virus either, and he ended up quarantining for 14 days or 10 days, and he was fine. So again, he took the necessary precaution. He probably had a distance lap dance. Do what you got to do to stay healthy, but if you don't, I think we should forfeit. So that's what. Let me know if you. I'm pro lemon pepper wings as long as you don't get the virus. That's fine. I'm fine with that. So, Chris, are you ready? Because now it is time for Britt's takes.
Britt's takes.
Okay, before we get to Britt's take, I do have something to say. I think it might persuade some of you guys to join the Los Angeles Clippers because my owner, Steve Ballmer, is actually usually nonpartisan. He's donated money to Republicans or Democrats, depending on who he just likes. And he is not racist because he voted or donated nothing to Donald Trump and donated to Joe Biden. So if that can persuade more people to come to Clippers Nation, we don't got a racist owner. We're good over here.
I gave him enough money buying Xboxes over the years. When he was with Microsoft.
But Britt, honestly, Britt knows because her and I have talked about. Yeah, he really is, and Britt and I have talked about that's the reason why I abandoned ship from the Cowboys because I just couldn't take it. So there are people like me in the world right now that are listening to Britt and was like, "Where's my credit card so I can order some Clippers jerseys?" I'm positive that is happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, right now a little bit. It evens it out for me a little bit. It helps me with the craziness of the Cowboys, and then I could just be, but my Clippers owner is amazing.
Right.
They used to have Don Sterling. He is the complete opposite of that. But we are about to get into Britt's take today, and it is actually going to be interesting because yesterday we know Jackie, during What We Not Gon Do, had to do something she didn't want to do, which was, give a little pat on the back or say Jerry Jones wasn't all the way wrong. Well, today I'm going to be talking about LeBron James. So LeBron James will be playing in his 10th NBA Finals starting tonight. He is tied with Kareem for third most appearances. Sam Jones is second with 11 appearances in the NBA Finals. And then obviously Bill Russell with 12. He's the champ with that. He is in first place with the most NBA Finals appearances. But Bill Russell won 11 of his 12, and Sam Jones won 10 of his 11. Obviously, both of them were on the same team with the Celtics, so they won a lot of those together. And LeBron has only won 3, and he has 6 losses. So I was looking, obviously, at First Take, all that kind of stuff this morning, just seeing what people had to say, what people were talking about. And a lot of the experts were talking about LeBron James in the finals and this being his 10th finals appearance. And if he loses his 7th NBA finals, how this will possibly tarnish his legacy in the league and yada, yada, and he's not going to be a GOAT anymore and this, that, and the third. But then I was very quickly reminded of a guy that we all know, we all love. We see him everywhere we look in the NBA because he is also the logo, Jerry West. So Jerry West, obviously, we know he played his entire career with the Lakers. He also coached, I think, 3-4 years with the Lakers as well. Obviously, now he is helping with my Clippers, and he has been huge in us creating the team that we have had now. So thanks, Jerry West, for all you've done for Clippers Nation, because you have done a lot for Lakers Nation as well. But I was reminded of Jerry West, and he actually has 9 NBA Finals appearances. And guess what, guys? He's only won 1 of those. He lost 8. Do we talk about Jerry West's 8 losses in NBA Finals appearances? Do we say that he should not be the logo because he has had 8 Finals NBA losses and only has won 1 NBA Finals? No, it has taken nothing away from him being the logo and being Jerry West that we all know and love. So I think it's kind of crazy for people to say that just because LeBron has been there 10 times and maybe could possibly lose his 7th, should we be talking about him any different as far as basketball is concerned? I think it's crazy to say that. It is a huge feat to even make it to the NBA Finals. Trust me, as a Clippers fan, I know because we've never been there before. So I literally know how it is a huge feat, and it should be highly rewarded that you even made it to that point, which as Jerry West, he's been to 9, but only won 1, and it has not taken anything from him. So I think the argument that it could possibly take away from LeBron James if he happens to lose this NBA Finals, going to now being his 7th NBA Finals loss, would tarnish his career in any capacity. My argument is, though, that I don't think it's losing the 7 times if he does lose this one. And this, obviously, this conversation is going to be based on the fact that if LeBron James loses. I think if he loses, the bigger hit to his thing is going to be that the Lakers are minus 400 favorites to actually win this. If you guys don't know betting and stuff, that is a heavy favorite, like a heavy favorite. Like if you vote for the Heat or if you bet on the Heat to win and they win, you're literally going to become a millionaire because of it. Like that's how big of a feat this is. Like being minus 400 to win, like it's huge. So I think the fact that the Lakers are just literally being given a platinum platter to win this. Not only they are that because, I mean, they have 2 top fighters on their team. We know I spoke, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, about the Miami Heat team and how literally it's a bunch of guys that were either overlooked guys. It's guys that were traded or given away, or this guy's just not going to be who we thought he was. We're just going to let him go. And then they've all compiled together with the Miami Heat. They are a 5th seed. The Eastern Conference was not that good this season. So being the 5th seed on the Eastern Conference was actually not making the playoffs if you were in the West. So I think that is the bigger issue. I think him losing would be because it's a bigger issue because of those things, not because it is his 7th. It would be his 7th loss in the NBA Finals. I don't think that is going to tarnish his career at all. I think it's going to be this situation if they lose and being basically handed at this point a platinum platter. Here, Lakers, here's your championship. If they lose after honestly, we know LeBron James hates playing against Giannis. He said that a million times. There's literally videos of him, every time Giannis came, dang, him in, LeBron doesn't like playing against Giannis. He's made that very clear in his past. We know before going into this, we thought the biggest thing was going to be the Clippers and the Lakers in the Western Conference, and that was going to be the biggest team that could actually give the Lakers a run for their money. Didn't even happen. So literally the Lakers have had their way, anything that they could have wanted to happen to get to the finals happened for them. And so it's not going to be a 7 if you lose. It's not going to be the 7 NBA finals that you have lost. It is going to be the fact that you lost when you had everything going for you in this instance. I'm not even going to go to Jackie on this one because I already know she's LeBron section. I want to ask you, if LeBron doesn't win, what do you think that means for his legacy?
Me?
Did you ask me?
Yeah, Chris.
Who'd you ask? I couldn't hear. Okay, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I couldn't hear it either. Yeah, you cut right on my name. Oh God, I hate this. Yeah, I heard the question. I heard the whole entire question. God, I hate this conversation, man. I think it has a factor. I will always say that it does have that factor because you are still losing NBA final games. But to me, I personally, and I'm not a bronzexual, but I am someone that respects LeBron James and what he has done in the league as a basketball player. I feel like it is something that you definitely have to mention, definitely something that you have to talk about. And I think what you said is probably the best way to explain it is the fact that regardless of it being 7, 8, or if you're Jerry West, 8 or whatever it may be, regardless of that, the fact of the matter is you lost another finals when you had the number one seeded team. Other narratives won't matter because people are always going to look for something to hate on LeBron James for, and that's just the way it's going to be with the Skip Baylesses in the world and with the trolls on the internet. That's just how it's going to be. So to me, I can only answer this for me personally. And to me, I don't think so. I think the fact that you can get to the finals this many times with different teams, regardless of what the situation may be, that is great within itself. Obviously, it is something to talk about, like I said at the beginning. But I'm not going to hold it against him to be like, well, LeBron got the final, but he can't win the damn thing. I can't. That's an argument that I can't use, but I understand why other people do use it. So I don't have an answer because I'm not one of those guys. I've told you many times, Brett, I don't play that GOAT conversation. To me, to get to the finals this many times with the Cavaliers, the Lakers, the Heat, that's a big deal. So I'm giving him the credit for that, and that's the conversation I'm going to stand by. I'm going to let the trolls and I'm going to let the Skip Baylesses have that whole argument, that sweaty argument about it.
Sweaty.
Jackie, I will ask you really quick because I know you do want to say something about this. Do you think and this is taking off your bronze sexual hat a little bit. I don't know if you can
Take it off.
a little bit. Do you think it is a bigger deal as far as the number of times that you've lost or the situation of who you lost to? So should it be taken in, like you like to say, the totality of the situation, like, oh, well, this is his 10th and he's lost 7? Or is it more like, oh, well, he shouldn't have lost to the Miami Heat? Do you just take it as this one season thing, or would you take it as how some people were looking at it, and I don't agree with the bigger thing of it's 7 NBA Finals?
I mean, that's a tough question because I think the Denver Nuggets have kind of made me look at any team that makes it this far a little different because nobody expected them to do what they did. No one expected them to, knock off the Clippers. So, and I've been a huge fan of the Miami Heat and their fight and the dog in them. So I think that, in football, we say any given Sunday, like any given Sunday, no matter how good you are, you're fully capable of losing. I think for me, what would make this specific finals a little different is because you have so much riding on it. You're not only just playing because you are older. We know that your legacy is coming to an end. You have built this team, but now you're also carrying the legacy of Kobe on your back. So if you can't pull out a win in this situation, then it has more of a sentimental impact because now you let down the guy that all of us are rooting for no matter what. So I think that I would probably have a different answer if Kobe was still here with us. But for me personally, this is a must win because they've said from the moment he passed that they were doing this season for him. And I think you have to finish that out for his legacy. And if you don't, then that's a huge failure that now we do have to have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
So for LeBron James, though?
Yeah, well, because LeBron has talked about like that Kobe came in with a pair of shoes that were one size too small and he wore it anyway because he looked up to Kobe. You know what I mean? He's said that throughout, his career. So
Right.
LeBron has vocalized that they are doing it for Kobe. He even said that when he was sitting on the floor and all the confetti was coming down and he was deep in thought, they asked him, what were you thinking in that moment? He was like, I was thinking this is one game. We still have a lot of work to do. We've got a bigger thing that we're playing for. So no, he didn't say specifically Kobe, although I think he did say that in another interview. We know as Laker fans specifically, and here in LA, we know what's riding on this finals from an emotional standpoint. So this is entirely different. And to be fair, whether LeBron had said this is for Kobe or not, it's for Kobe because everybody, they literally have whole new jerseys for Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? So that's been the narrative since Kobe passed. And so he's got to bring this one home, in my opinion.
Yeah, interesting. Well, look at me sticking up for LeBron James and saying it.
I know, girl. I literally fell on the floor. I was like, let me get back up. Let me. I thought I entered some sort of alternate dimension.
I know. What a shock. What a turn of events here. All right, you guys. So we are 6 minutes over. So let's wrap up our show for the day. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Tap the bell for notifications. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. I will be doing some game coverage tonight, so make sure you tune into our channel after 5:36 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be doing that throughout the finals, you guys, so just check out all those videos, and we'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on the Fumble. Bye, everyone.
Titanic, near, far, wherever you are.
Wherever The heart
At the end.